Seven elements of interior design, which is very important to know each and everyone who is lover of interior designing. Hello everyone, welcome to ShivindaN Construction Private Limited. Interior designs isn't means to copy someone or from somewhere, because it is an art of dream house of people what they share their requirements and ideas to professionals, and they put their efforts to achieve it within their budget, because every house owner have their own budget to decor their house, and interior designer and executor have to think first before doing and designing something, choosing material so that they can achieve their decor within their pocket. The problem with interior design is a lot. Many people confuse it with interior decoration, while the formers refer to designing an entire living space of scratch. The latter refer to decorating an existing living space with added furniture and upholstery. Interior design is indeed a science that is bound by its own elements and principles, and yes, it is not as simple as one imagines it to be. Generally, interior designers go by the rule book that states that there are seven elements and seven principles of interior designing. We are going to cover all these seven elements of interior design in this article, followed by articles explaining all the seven principles. So, let's begin. The first principle is space. Space is one of the most important elements of interior design. Space acts as a foundation on which the entire interior design plan is built. Hence, it is essential that the designer is well aware of the space available, its dimension, its utilities, and he must be very specialist in space management. The space is divided into two, namely two-dimensional space, which covers the floor, includes length and width, and other three-dimensional space, which forms the living space, include length, width, and height. A space that is essentially filled with furniture, decor items, is positive space, and an empty space is a negative space. An equilibrium has to be maintained between the positive and negative spaces, and either overcrowding or skimping on the furniture or decor item is going to affect this equilibrium. Second principle is line. Line gives worth to forms and shapes and are responsible for establishing a sense of harmony, contrast, and unity, three of the seven principles in a living space. They define shapes and act as a visual guides of an interior space. Lines are broadly categorized into three types. It's horizontal, vertical, and dynamic. While horizontal lines adorn structure like tables, chairs, and beds. Vertical lines can be found on windows, doorways, and almirahs, while horizontal lines add a safe and secure feeling to the space. Vertical lines emote free and expansive nature. Dynamic and angular lines, which are action-oriented, add drama and can be seen on structures like stairs. An interior designer must know how to utilize these lines to define the form. Another importance of interior design element like material and the cost. Third principle is forms. Forms means shapes in general, an outline of any three-dimensional object in the space. Forms can be created by combining two or more shapes and can be accentuated with the help of other elements like texture, patterns, and colors. A well-defined form establishes harmony and additional forms add balance to the space. There are two types of forms. Geometric, it's man-made, and natural, it's organic. Also forms are categorized as open and closed. Open forms are those that can be looked into and closed form are those that are enclosed by a closed surface. A solid understanding of the above mentioned elements, that is space and line, is required to achieve a groove form. Fourth principle is light. Light is one of the most obvious elements of interior design, either natural or man-made. Without light, other elements, namely color, texture, and pattern, have no significance at all. Light sets in the mood and ambience into a living space and highlights the every other element, including space, line, and forms. While smart placement of doors and windows should take care of the natural light, man-made or artificial lighting is broadly divided into three major types, namely task light, accent lighting, and mood lighting. Task light, as the name implies, includes light sources like table and bed lamp, which have a defined purpose dedicated for a specific task. Accent light are meant for highlighting a particular piece or show item like artworks, structures, sculptures, and so on. Mood or ambient light basically set the mood of living space and illuminate the overall space. The fifth element is color. Color don't need any special introduction. Colors establish an aesthetic connection between objects and set the mood. Colors must be chosen based on the psychology and the mindset of the dweller. For example, red is an excellent choice for dining room as it encourages appetite, and green for bedroom as it is the color of tranquility and health. Each color has three distinct characteristics, namely hue, value, and intensity, and an interior designer must be well aware of these characteristics to perform various permutation and combinations. Colors are broadly classified into primary and secondary colors and also subcategorized into tertiary, complementary, analogous, and monochromatic colors. The sixth principle is texture. Texture mainly deals with surfaces and determines how a typical surface looks and feels. Texture adds depth and interest into a living space and defines the feel, appearance, and consistency of a surface. Texture is broadly classified into two types: visual textures, where the texture is only visible, and actual texture, where the texture is both seen and feel. Anything that has to do with textiles such as pillow cover, bedspreads, or anything to do with cover like drapes, wall paint, or wallpapers have a texture, while there must be a dominant texture to define a mood, and contrasting texture must also be included to avoid monotony. The last principle is pattern. Patterns add interest and life to interior design and work along with colors. Patterns tells a story of their own and add the element of continuity and smooth transition in a living space. Patterns could be of any shape and mostly comprise of attractive and repetitive designs. Basically, a design pattern which takes the shape of a droplet shaped vegetable is one of the most commonly used pattern on wall paints, pillow cover, and other decorative surfaces.